Good evening and welcome to NTD UK News. I'm Stuart Lees and here are today's top stories. The Health Secretary says lifting lockdown restrictions on the 19th of July is the most responsible decision we can take.
And we firmly believe that this is the right time to get our nation closer to normal life.
After last night's heroic loss against Italy, Gareth Southgate says he will pause before deciding what to do next.
When you're so close, that's even more painful, of course. It feels like the stomach's been ripped out this morning.
And billionaire Richard Branson comes back down to Earth after soaring more than 50 miles above it in Virgin Galactic's first fully crewed spaceflight.
I was once a child with a dream, looking up to the stars. Now I'm an adult in a spaceship with lots of other wonderful adults looking down to our beautiful, beautiful Earth.
Health Secretary Javid confirms that the COVID-19 lockdown in England will come to an end on the 19th of July. NTD's Neil Woodrow brings us the details.
Updating the House of Commons, Javid said the country will move into step 4 of the roadmap next Monday and almost all legal restrictions on social contact will be removed. He told MPs that as a result of the success of the vaccination programme, now is the right time to get the nation closer to normal life.
Now, to those who say, why take this step now? I say, if not now, when? There will never be a perfect time to take this step because we simply cannot eradicate this virus. Whether we like it or not, coronavirus is not going away. But moving forward next week, supported by the arrival of summer and the school holidays, it gives us the best possible chance of a return to normal life. If we wait longer, then we risk pushing the virus towards winter, when the virus will have an advantage, or worse still, we will not be opening up at all.
Whilst the Health Secretary talked about the freedoms that will be restored, the Prime Minister focused on the risks. In an address from 10 Downing Street, he emphasised that it is absolutely vital to proceed with caution.
This pandemic is not over. This disease, coronavirus, continues to carry risks for you and your family. We cannot simply revert instantly from Monday the 19th of July to life as it was before COVID.
The PM said that guidance to work from home will end and talked about the wearing of face masks.
But we expect and recommend that people wear a face covering in crowded and enclosed spaces where you come into contact with those you don't normally meet, such as on public transport.
The Health Secretary acknowledged that case numbers are rising again as a result of the spread of the more transmissible Delta variant. He said we could reach 100,000 cases a day later in the summer, but he stressed that the government's approach is about balancing the risks of the virus and the harms caused by the lockdown measures.
This step forward is about balancing the harms that are caused by COVID with the undeniable harms that restrictions bring. These restrictions, they were vital to protect the NHS. But we must be upfront about the impact of keeping them, just as we are about removing them. The rise in domestic violence, the impact on mental health, the undiagnosed cancer, to name just a few.
The government has previously said that at step 4 all restrictions on social contact will be removed and masks will no longer be legally required. But now, in view of the spread of the Delta variant, the government has taken a more cautious approach. It issued guidance encouraging the use of COVID status certification, the so-called vaccine passports. It also recommends that people should continue to wear face coverings in crowded indoor settings like public transport. Neil Woodrow, NTD News.
Expectation, celebration and disappointment. The Euro finals were a close call. After all the drama, there's a feeling of national pride for the Three Lions despite England's defeat. NTD's Jane Worrell has this report.
Football was almost home. Luke Shaw's goal in the first half felt like it was a long time ago by the time it came to penalties. There was elation, anticipation, and disappointment. The opportunity for the trophy may be gone for now, but England fans felt proud of their team in the country's first major final in 55 years.
I think when we had a moment to take the momentum, we missed it, personally. But look, you've got to give credit to the team and to Gareth Southgate and all the players. They've done a fantastic job for our country. I'm very proud of them.
The boys done amazingly well, and it's sickening. Congratulations to the Italians. They sort of deserved it, but we would have preferred it.
Fans who watched in Trafalgar Square also felt the heartbreak. Before the match, we asked some fans if they felt like football was one of the few places where they could fly the England flag and be proud of their nation.
In other situations, it comes across as nationalistic and things, but I feel like everybody's just so proud of how far we've come for once that we have to just go full send.
Yeah, I think it's a good way of supporting the nation, because usually we wouldn't have that, so we get to do it through the football, which is good.
I would have said that national pride is probably at its highest now because of the football, but in spite of COVID. Because of all the restrictions, people have been kept apart, but now the football's brought everybody together. So I would say that's what's made national pride the highest that it is now.
I know I am, I'm sure I am, I'm England till I die. England till I die.
Kind of everyone gets brought up more with football. It seems to be more encouraged from a younger age, so I think it's more, as a cultural aspect, football just seems to be ingrained in almost everyone that you see. So even the ones that aren't really into it, when England are on, all of a sudden, people that aren't necessarily interested in the football become more interested because England are on. And obviously become more proud of their country, so as they should be.
For a while, this country has been ashamed to be proud of itself.
Well, that's not why we voted over Brexit, because we wanted to go our own way. I think it's the opposite.
I think historically we've done some bad things.
Is it about football though, rather than dredging up the past?
And that's made us be a bit of ashamed of ourselves. But I think with the sports, we've not done anything bad, and it's something to be proud of.
I was born in England. I'm Caribbean, but I'm born in England, so I'm going to support England. You know what I mean?
The Games united people after a difficult 18 months of pandemic restrictions. The Three Lions didn't triumph, and the hurt continues, but the team has improved each time. Their fans will be supporting them the next time around. Jane Worrell, NTD News, London.
England lost the Euro 2020 final, but for manager Gareth Southgate, the team is on the right path to the top. NTD's Joy Duguid has more on this.
England manager Gareth Southgate says he will pause before any decision over his future, but he intends to stay in charge of the team. Southgate is under contract until after next year's World Cup in Qatar. The Football Association has already expressed an intent to extend his deal.
As I sit here today, I would want to be taking the team to Qatar. I feel that we've made progress over the 4 years. We've had a fourth place, a third place and a second place. It's probably as good as any other team in Europe, bar those that have won the tournaments themselves.
He says to lead the country in these tournaments is an exciting experience, but it takes its toll. Southgate led the team to the semi-finals of the World Cup in Russia in 2018. He says a number of successful national teams suffered the pain of being close to title before finally breaking through, but it's still emotionally difficult to handle the loss.
The fact that we've had the first signs of some consistency, semi-final, final, has to be a step in the right direction. It's not ultimately where we wanted to get to, and when you're so close, that's even more painful, of course. It just feels like stomach's been ripped out this morning.
England lost the Euro 2020 final to Italy on penalties after the game ended 1-1 at the end of extra time. Joy Duguid, NTD News.
Virgin Galactic has successfully completed its first fully crewed spaceflight, bringing commercial space tourism one step closer. NTD's John Robson has the story.
On Sunday, Virgin Group founder Richard Branson and 5 crew members soared more than 50 miles above the Earth aboard a rocket plane and safely returned. This is Virgin Galactic's first fully crewed test flight to space, a symbolic milestone for a venture Branson started 17 years ago. The 70-year-old entrepreneur wished Amazon's founder Jeff Bezos the best for his space flight in a few days' time.
I don't know how, I've said this so many times, it really wasn't a race, but we're just delighted that everything went so fantastically well. We wish Jeff the absolute best and the people who are going up with him during his flight.
Virgin Galactic's passenger rocket plane was carried upwards, attached to a mothership. Upon reaching 46,000 feet, the plane was released. The crew then ignited its rocket, sending it streaking upward at supersonic speed to the blackness of space, some 53 miles high. At the top of the climb, with the rocket shut down, the crew experienced a few minutes of weightlessness.
To all you kids down there, I was once a child with a dream, looking up to the stars. Now I'm an adult in a spaceship with lots of other wonderful adults looking down to our beautiful, beautiful Earth. To the next generation of dreamers, if we can do this, just imagine what you can do. Yay!
Virgin says it plans at least 2 more test flights in the months ahead. Regular commercial operation is expected to start in 2022. Several hundred people have already booked reservations, priced at around £180,000 per ticket. Joanne Robson, NTD News.
The Telegraph reported over the weekend that British-branded private schools in China will be forced to teach only lessons approved by the Chinese regime. The purpose is to ensure supposed right thinking. NTD's Foreign Affairs correspondent Sharon Xu explains.
Starting in September, international schools in China, including British brands such as Harrow and Dulwich, are being instructed to teach the same lessons as China's state-run schools from kindergarten to grade 9. It's become a regulatory requirement for them to do this in order to uphold the leadership of the Chinese Communist Party. The new rules seek to assert more control over the operation of private schools by limiting foreign control and involvement. School board members must be Chinese, and only Chinese citizens are permitted to invest in those schools that are open to local Chinese children. British schools in China are contracted via service agreements, so in other words, they are more like Chinese schools with a British logo. In March, China's Department of Education issued new guidelines to all bilingual schools. It stresses the socialist values of the Chinese regime as its guiding principles. At the end of 2019, China's Education Ministry banned Chinese primary and secondary schools from using foreign textbooks. These schools must follow the official line on all subjects, including the 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre, Tibet, and Taiwan. The only exception to this rule is schools exclusively for expatriates. These moves are viewed as a part of a broader push under Chinese leader Xi Jinping to ensure the communist ideology stays front and center in the lives of young people. According to a recent report by UK-based education data provider RSC Research, currently there are 43 branches of British independent schools in mainland China and Hong Kong, with about 25,000 pupils. Sharon Xu, NTD News.
The preliminary results of Bulgaria's snap election show no clear winner. This is the second election in the country in 3 months. NTD's 88 Ken has the story.
Bulgaria's Central Electoral Commission says the early election has no clear winner, with 95% of the ballots counted. The centre-right GERB party of former Prime Minister Baiko Borisov has won 23.9% of the votes. Its main contender, anti-elite party ITN, gained 23.7%. 4 more parties have passed the 4% threshold and will enter the 240-seat chamber. The snap elections were held just 3 months after a previous inconclusive vote and are set to produce a fragmented parliament. Locals in Sofia spoke of uncertainty about these results and the future of Bulgaria.
I always vote in the hope that things will change in Bulgaria, because they are not good at all in my opinion.
It would be very foolish to have elections for a third time. I think it is unnecessary.
Bulgaria is the EU's poorest member state. Former Prime Minister Borisov's support dropped further after the current caretaker government made public allegations of widespread corruption during his rule. His hope to return to power for a fourth term is slim. Leader of ITN Slavy Trivanov, a popular TV entertainer, says he plans to try to form a minority government. Eddie Aitken, NTD News.
Still to come, Spaniards took to the fountains at the weekend as the temperature soared to 47 degrees Celsius. That and more when we return. Thank you for watching our daily news show on YouTube. You can also watch our other programming on channel 190 on Sky TV or on Freeview via channel box on channel 271. In the meantime though, please give this video a like and hit subscribe to our channel. Have a good day.